This is our yesterday, today, and tomorrow plant. It changes colors depending on the day, like this was yesterday's, this is today's, and it'll be a, well, there you go. There's the dark purple for tomorrow. And it goes in 3 stages, and kind of what I want to talk about today is yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So we're going to go upstairs on the deck, and I'm going to talk to you about how we got to where we are in our urban farm. So I thought today, being Sunday, it's always a reflective day, I'd talk a little bit about yesterday, today, and tomorrow, and where we kind of came from as far, at least I did, as far as we're really urban farming. So back in the 70s, I don't even remember where I got this book, but it's Carla Emery, Country Living. I recently saw where Esther Emery was interviewed on a channel. I didn't even realize that was Carla's daughter until they started talking about authors of books. And I think this is the 3rd edition from 1977. I have had this book since I was in my 20s, and I'm in my 60s now. I've carried this book with me overseas. It's been in Sicily, many different states, many different countries. I love this book. If somebody said you can have several books and that's it, this would definitely be one of 2. Back in the 70s it was $12.95, and I think at that time that was pretty expensive for my budget. But I love this one, and if you can see, Mr. Renaissance had to tape it for me. I actually lost the cover, and it's pretty beaten up and worn, and sometimes that's how life is, you know, between this book. And if you look here, several years ago for Christmas, I asked if I could get the 40th edition of Country Living. And so I have this one also by Carla Emery, but this one is priceless to me. Actually, the price only went up probably just over double, but the things that I love about this one, and they didn't include so much in here, is the sketches and the pencil drawings and the pictures of the family. And I remember there's a picture in here somewhere of a lady on a grapevine, and her hands were old and arthritic. And I remember in my 20s thinking, oh, what a story she must have. And now here, you know, here I am. I'm in that age group. And this one, the newer one, like for example, here's spring planting dates. And it's just, there's a few sketches, but not as many as in my old book. So sometimes old is better. I did see that there was this picture of her that I had never seen before with her husband and their dogs. And on the back of my old one, I actually looked, and I guess this was done before Esther was born, because it has all the children here, and I think maybe the youngest were Becca and Dolly of the girls. So this one must have been, I think it was published in 1977. But it's interesting. Back when I got this book, I was also living in a rental house, and I tried to do a little bit of it. I had a couple of chickens. I had a little garden. And sometimes when I think about the young people starting their channels, like Future Dreams to Reality, I remember those days. And, you know, we didn't have the internet. I would have loved to have the internet back during that time and actually communicated or spoke to Carla. She unfortunately passed away. But I know that I've always loved her daughter's channel without even realizing that that was her daughter. So much like this book, life kind of gets in your way sometimes and you get a little tattered. But we still have this new book, and we're starting over again. It's interesting that I'm basically at the same spot, fast forward 40 years. So sometimes I think, well, I never made it out to a homestead. But as you know, you can do whatever you can, even if you're living in a subdivision. So maybe that's where I'm supposed to be with my urban gardening. But I just thought that was kind of interesting to see the difference. And when I flipped through my old book, when I found it this morning, I just opened it up. And what did I come to? I came to rose petal jelly. And that is for spicy at Backwoods. We recently had a discussion with him. He thought rose petals were poisonous. And so as soon as we get enough, we're going to have to make some jelly and send it his way. But there's some really lovely recipes, several on rose petal jelly here through the older book. And actually, I didn't even check if it's in the new edition. I just, always go to my old book. But we just thought we'd bring that up today. We have just a couple more things we want to talk about. I have learned a few things over the years. So for now, that's it.